Welcome back. Hard to believe, but it has been a year since former D.C. Mayor and Councilman Marion Barry died. We want to spend a few moments here today talking about his legacy and about how D.C. will honor a public servant who had no peer. Mr. Barry's widow, Cora Masters Barry, joins us now. Thanks very much for your time. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you, too.
I can't believe it's been a year. I'll bet most people can't either.
Well, not only do they not believe it's been a year, but really can't believe he's gone. I mean, that's every day, you know, that I leave out of my house. Every single day, someone walks up to me and talks to me about Marion. It's really amazing how he is in the life and the heart and the soul of the people in the District of Columbia. So it's been a year, but every day you expect him to call and say, "What's up?"
And that's part of the hard part is that expectation of the person as you've always known and cherished them.
Yes, it is. It's difficult.
And is it truly an everyday?
Every day I leave my house, it's amazing. I've become accustomed to it. At first, I was a little off-put about it, but the other day I was doing something for the kids at the Southeast Tennyson Learning Center for Halloween, so I stopped in this discount store. And before I could get out of there, 3 people stopped me and told me these long stories. And it's finally come to me that I'm the person that they see, so the relevancy is probably more talking to me. So I've learned to listen and, you know, and let people talk about it.
How has it impacted your process? When you know, you never get over the loss of a loved one, parent, whomever, friend, anyone. So you know that's always a part of your life and part of your heart. But as time goes on, you do start to welcome those moments where it's not always in your thoughts, just so you can, you know, sort of control when you think about the person or what have you, and still, you know, go on and live your life, hopefully being inspired by the person who's no longer here. What's this experience like for you, where where talking about Marion Barry is a daily thing?
Well, first of all, Marion and I have been best friends since 1970. We've known each other that long. As he used to say, our friendship turned into loveship and then turned back into friendship. So he was my best friend. So we talk 2 and 3 times a week and sometimes 2 and 3 times a day. So to make that transition and not be able to deal with it on my own because people are giving it back to me, it's almost like he's still here. And it's kind of funny because some of the stories are funny, some of the stories are inspirational, but people are just so intense about him.
Is there a common theme?
His goodness, what he did, his heart, how they helped him, how he helped them. It's extraordinary things that, you know, this guy who stopped me, one of the guys that stopped me, he's up in age, but obviously it was like 15, 20 years ago. He was out of work and he was at a public housing and he said, you know, "Mr. Mayor, I need to work." And he said, "I'll be back." And he actually came back, and he put him and all of his friends to work. And this guy owns 2 homes now out in Maryland. And so it's always something that's extraordinary.
Marion Barry had a complicated legacy.
Yes.
He was a complicated guy.
Yes, he was.
Do you want D.C. to remember all of it? Because there can be a tendency to gloss over certain things and emphasize others. Not see the man in his full complexity.
Well, what I have found about life, period, is that when people leave, what comes up is what they've done that's positive, and the other recedes. And as I've said before, Marion did so much for so many for so long that people tend to focus on what he's done for them and the city and not focus so much on what he did to himself. And so that's just kind of a natural inclination that happens. You know, I've been in many situations where people have left us, and people will sit there and laugh and talk about all the great things, and it seems like the negatives just kind of disappear. But I want people to remember him as a total person that he was. He was bodacious, he was courageous, he was funny, he was brilliant, he was generous, he had a good heart, and he just never gave up. Marion literally died on his feet.
And his sense of history of the city and of various movements within the city was remarkable. I was reminded of that one day during a commercial break. He told me something really interesting about the neighborhood I live in. I don't have time to. I don't want to take the time from you now to tell the story. I've told it before. It's a great story, and it reminded me of the many facets. I told him, you don't know what street I live on. He asked me, where do I live? I said, you've never heard of my street. Well, it turns out he knew more about my street by a lot than I did. So the guy was a walking encyclopedia, and we lost some history probably when he passed.
Amazing. The last vote he cast, we cast together. We voted early for Mayor Bowser. We had gone to a prayer breakfast. We voted early, and I was driving him. So as we were riding down the street, he was like, over here is so-and-so, and there used to be so-and-so, and then we're going to build so-and-so. And I'm looking at him thinking, you're not going to be around when this gets done to me either. I mean, he always has such great vision. I mean, he never saw things as they are. They saw them as it was and what it's going to be. And that is a unique characteristic that I just don't think many people possess. He was one of a kind.
I quote him sometimes when I'm negotiating with a press secretary or a booker and they want to come on the show with their person or their cause. I say, okay, great. What do I get? Which is a great Marion Barry line that he threw at the CFO one day and the head of the lottery. And I thought, oh, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to use that. Why not, right? How should D.C. honor him in a formal way, and where does that process stand now?
Well, that's also interesting because Marion he did something no one else would do. Everybody talks about how many years he spent on the city council. I think 32, and also how many years, 4 terms as mayor, but they don't even talk about him being president of the school board. So because he did so much in every level of government, to honor him is a little different than the traditional one thing. So the people have come to the commission, have met with them, have sent in letters, emails, texts, and so I think when the mayor makes her announcement this afternoon, it's going to be a multiple suggestion and proposal to represent the whole city and to do the things that we think will keep his memory alive. And also... That
feels right to you?
I think that feels right because I think that what he's done, nobody else will ever do again. And also what he's done is in our lives forever. The downtown Washington, you know, what he's done for not only young people and seniors, but what he did for businesses. He did so much at a time that we wouldn't be where we are today.
The African-American middle class and upper middle class of the District of Columbia and Prince George's County is a testimony to the steps he took. That
Ward 9. Ward 9. And then we have billionaires who, I mean, self-proclaimed billionaires, the Bob Johnsons and the Donald Peoples, who all go back to what Marion did to give them their start.
Is there a place for people to go now, a physical place for people to go? I mean, is there a tombstone a year in?
Marion is interred at Congressional Cemetery, and we've been working on putting together a tombstone in his honor. And just like he had a big life and he had a big home going, the tombstone has to be commensurate with who he is and what he represents. It's been one of the hardest things. It was as hard as the funeral. But we are there now. We've got it designed, and we're getting ready to go into...
production?
And we hope to have it ready by his birthday.
Which would be?
March 6th.
March 6th. And that will be a big moment.
Yeah, that'll be a big moment.
Well, thanks for coming in and sharing your thoughts. It has been a much more day-to-day experience for you, clearly, than for others who, you know, no matter how big the person, life goes on. For you as a friend, lover, and everything else, it's been quite a process.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks very much for coming in and sharing your views today. It's always great having you here. Next time, in the true Marion Barry tradition, the next time you're here, we're going to talk politics. Because you are no slouch when it comes to politics, and I'm dying to hear your views.
And I love it. Thank you.
We'll do that again really soon. Cora Masters Barry here on News Talk. Have a great holiday.
Same to you.
Back with more in a moment.